Okay. Well,
We're all good.
hey guys, Josh and Chris here with the Brothers Boyd, and you are on another episode of The Sculpt. And today we have joining us Daryl Murphy with his creator comic Revision, which we actually just read. Josh read it today. I read it this week, and it's a really great read, and we can't wait to talk to Daryl about it. Uh, so tell us a little bit now, Daryl. You have been working for other comic companies as well. Now, have you worked for the big three or any of the big three?
Well, now I am, but it's also it's conjunction with Upper Deck Entertainment. So all I can say now is that I'm allowed to say is that I'm working on a Marvel project.
Awesome.
Awesome.
So,
Oh, that's awesome. We're excited. You know, with the upper deck, it sounds like me. We're going to be doing cards, and I've I've seen your artwork. We follow you on Instagram, and you do really great artwork.
thank you.
But the really cool thing about the sculpt is we're working with creator content. These are the things that you get to create on your own. And so
Yeah.
I kind of like the first question I really want to ask you is um, kind of when did you start drawing, and what was your first character you ever created?
Well, I started drawing. Geez, I think I picked up a crayon. I was like four or five, but it was when I turned. I was like 11 or 12. And the first character, what was my first character? First character, ah, Incredible Hulk. That's my first character because I picked up it was one of the Red Hulk books from back then, and I was really heavy into Dragon Ball Z, and I started learning how to draw all of the characters from Dragon Ball Z. And after I've learned how to draw Dragon Ball Z, told myself, well, okay, I guess this is how the body works, and the facial features. Didn't really know the difference between anime and then regular cartoons at the time. But that's what I was training myself to do. But yeah, it was the Hulk and Goku, Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z.
Nice. Nice. If you had a chance to work on any of those, which would you pick?
Ooh, that's a that's a good question. That's a good question. But I would pick Incredible Hulk because it was my first character, and the artist that um colored that piece was Jason Keith.
Nice.
Um, Me and Jason Keith, we have a relationship now, and we're always talking and talking about art. He helps me get better. You know, he's kind of under his wing. It's amazing because that's something that I grew up trying to figure out how to draw, and then being able to meet the artist behind it and have an actual connection with him is a really great thing to me.
It's awesome to see that and to see your dream, man, from when you were 11 or 12. That's
Yeah,
like I teach sixth graders, so that's right around that age. And
yeah,
it's a good thing to see. You went from that sixth grade drawing to become an artist of a comic and getting to meet your hero who
oh,
you
yeah,
know grew up watching and getting to know, and that's a really cool thing. Um,
yeah,
if you had a like your creator owned universe, Revigen, is that your first creator owned book, or do you have
yes. That was my first one. Um, I created the book when I was about 14, but of course, I really didn't know too much about comics. I was still learning from the Shonen Jump books that were out back then. I was getting Marvel books, started getting Spider-Man books, and I was like, I wanted to make my own comic book. Um, Got inspiration from some cartoon shows, and I just started to create one. But when I was in high school, I had at least four issues already created. Um, I ended up moving and I lost the books, but there was another one that It's also a manga. It's called Dragon Rai. So it's a dragon, but he's a samurai. You know, that was one that I also created when I was younger as well. And I'm going to it's also a book that I'm going to um recreate.
Awesome. Awesome. That should be an interesting read. Well, I'm looking at the cover right now on my tablet, and I feel like I'm looking at the same person on the cover as I'm looking at on the screen. Red is a little bit of you, I believe.
Oh yes. Yes, Red is my nickname. That's my other side. That's the hidden side. So um yeah, I've been through a lot in life, and my like when you read about Red, and you'll see like, oh, this character has a temper. It's how I used to be, but I turned over a new leaf years ago, and I wanted to I wanted to see how I could make something of a character, kind of like a he's a villain, but he's not, and he has to go through things that I went through in my life, like anxiety, depression, and actually battle these things and figure out who he really is, figure out why he exists. And it took a while for me to get this all to put together, but when I finally did, I was telling myself, maybe you should turn all of the things that you've dealt with into actual enemies. So that's what I'm doing in this book. Like darkness is the main villain, and I've dealt with a lot of darkness throughout the years, and trying to shed light on it to let people know, like, you don't have to deal with that. You can actually battle that, and it's a way to get around things. That's
Awesome.
what this character deals with, and he's considered one of the powerful enemies. No, sorry, one of the powerful beings in the multiverse.
Nice.
Awesome. So, um, you obviously you've been a comic book fan your whole life, kind of like we are. Right now with the comics, we're finding like the independent comics seems to be the ones where we're leaning more to, and we're getting the better stories. As far as thinking back, when do you feel like some of the best comics were written? I'm sorry. Um, what decade do you think probably some of the best ones were put out?
I would say around 2010, 2011, around that time. Um, and that's a good question too, because there's like even now, there's there's a book called Flawed written by Chuck Brown. It's very well written. I absolutely love it. Um, I feel like that is kind of a dilemma between the two, but yeah, that's a tough question. But
Yeah,
it's
Florida is an amazing book.
yeah. Yeah, I love it, but there are others, there especially dealing with Spider-Man, but it's like I feel as if some like now some of the stories that I read are almost repetitive, and I try to search for something new, something different.
Yeah, it's interesting how, some of the bigger companies are going back into the well, and they're telling the same story over again with a new character.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I see it a lot, um
They're taking cues from Hollywood because everything is a remake now in movies. So why
No,
not do it
oh
with
goodness.
comics?
no
Yeah,
call outs, but uh uh Miles Morales Clone Saga all over again. Why are we doing that? We did that with Peter Parker. We don't need to bring.
Yeah, yeah. It's hopefully, because I seen a post about like some of the writers for the movies, they were saying like we really have no knowledge about the comics, and it shows. But people are slowly leaving. Their interest is leaving Marvel and in DC as well. And I feel like we need something that's going to grab everybody's attention again. Maybe the Deadpool and Wolverine movie may grab our attention. You know,
Right, right. And I also just heard this week Amazon is going to release 8 Billion Genies as a TV series. They've landed on their creative crew, so that's going to be definitely a cool thing to see because that's creator owned and just going to be a really
like
cool way to see something different.
okay,
So what would you say is the worst thing about creating comics?
I would say the worst thing, like I is having the time. So I know we all have families and things. Some artists struggle with having good time management when it comes down to creating comics and being able to get a good amount of rest. You know, 'cause all of that it ties together when it's time for you to create. Because of course we have to write the story, and then after writing we have to, well, excuse me, brainstorm, then write the story. Then of course comes the rough drafts. But if you don't have a good amount of sleep, if you're trying to rush things because you don't have enough time to do things, then when you get to the final product, it's not going to be what you want. Um, I feel like some people feel pressured, depending on who they work for different companies. They may feel pressured for time, and they may not produce great work because of that time they're allotted. But that's how the industry is now. Hopefully, one day it can change. But as far as production goes, these big companies, they want to get those books out there. So they're going to be on you. They're going to make sure that you're turning in pages. Like if you, like David Finch said in one of his videos on YouTube, like there were times where he was late, but he had to make up for the work. So if you're late, can't make a deadline, it's good to keep in good communication with your editor. Um, Sometimes they may work with you. Sometimes they'll choose another artist, but that's just the way things work in this industry. So I try to tell other artists that, try to teach them things that I've learned along the way, because the most important thing to me is actually listening when it comes down to receiving criticism from someone who's been out there going to Comic Cons and networking, because I'm here to help other artists and not tear them down. I'm try to, not sugarcoat anything. Because you're gonna meet people like Brian Stelfreeze, for example. Brian Stelfreeze can read you like a book. He can read your artwork like a book. He can tell you what you have to work on. If you can't listen, then your feelings going to be hurt. So, uh, back to what I was saying about the rest, it's really important to have enough sleep so that you can be able to make great work and just do the best that you can do.
Awesome.
And I know you lingered into the talking about Comic Cons there. How important do you feel Comic Cons are to the industry itself and to independent creators?
I feel like Comic Cons are very vital to artists and to anybody that loves the environment and the atmosphere. I feel like Comic Cons give people a time and reason to escape from reality just for a few days, to dress up as their favorite character and meet other people, just have a great time and to meet their favorite artists behind their favorite stories. For as far as artists go, I feel like Comic Con is it's a very important thing for an artist to attend and to table at, so the artist can get that good that good feeling of being in the industry, being around other people who are doing the same things that they're doing, and that can guide them the right way in order to help them succeed and get to where they want to be. So Comic Cons really helped me out. Like my first Comic Con was in Chicago, and I went to the C2E2 event, and that's when I got in connect with the Hero Initiative. When I met the Hero Initiative, they liked my work ethic, my character, and personality, and they got me in contact with director of the Hero Initiative, the president of the Hero Initiative, and then he got me in contact with Kevin Eastman. That's how I got my start on Ninja Turtles. Things like that can happen when you go to Comic Cons as an artist. Networking is very powerful.
I agree. The
So,
connections we made at Comic Cons have been great. Getting to meet and talk to people like you, Daryl, is always a good time. And,
Oh
and
yeah,
it helps us learn. We've grown in the last 2 years doing this. So it's an
nice.
thing. Let's roll over to your comic and talk about it a little bit. Um,
Okay,
tell us about the storyline.
okay. The story is about a demigod. He wakes up in space, doesn't know who he is. He goes on a journey to find out who he really is and why he's been working for darkness the entire time. So darkness is an actual evil entity in this story. So you have Revergen is Revelation in Genesis. I just switched the words around and I mashed them together. And some people ask me, like, is this a Bible? It's a Bible book? Like, it's not exactly a Bible book, but you will get some depictions of the Bible in this story. Um, this story goes from Genesis. I let you know about things that happened in the beginning, um, also things that happen in the end. It has aliens in this story. The character Red, he's just trying to figure out why he existed, why he's been brainwashed so many times. In issue 2, the story's going to continue. He's going to start meeting other people. He's going to figure out why he's in the position that he's in because his memories are going to be restored. So this story is like if you like Silver Surfer, um, X-Men, if you like Star Wars, you'll love this story. Blade, you'll love this story. He has an
yeah,
attitude.
if you love comics, you'll love this story because I mean it's a great comic all the way around. Um,
Appreciate it.
so yeah, so we're talking about the sculpt, and one of the reasons why we're interviewing you is we want to see these characters that you guys create become a sculpt, and for someone to actually make a figure or a sculpture of that. Um, so when you think about your book Revision, what would you like to see as a sculpt from that book itself?
I would like to see my character Red in a dynamic pose or a pose that lets me know that Red is serious. Something telling me like he's confident. He's about to take off, fight someone. Something that can really oh, 1 second. That's my daughter. Sorry.
You're
Something that really speaks to me and so it's that's detailed. Something that lets me know that the person that sculpts this actually loves the character, was feeling the character, has read the issue, the first issue, even if they haven't read the first issue. Because hey, you never know, somebody might look at my character like, oh, okay, I see what type of character this is. Let me go to work. So yeah, something dynamic that really stick out to me. That'll be the best outcome.
And
so
I think
he,
one of the things I've seen, and Josh, you've seen it before too. Your comic is written in the black and white ink, which we've seen some great comics like Batman Black and White, and we've seen actual statues made with these characters in the black, white, and gray.
Nice.
Would you be opposed to someone actually, in their interpretation, bringing your character to life in color?
Oh, of course. Of course. If they want to add color to it, that hey, that's by all means. That really, it will really speak to me. If they can add color to it, I might have something extra for them.
Awesome.
So I hear an action pose. I hear intensity, which means we need a really good sculpt of the face. We need
Yes.
the eyes in there with that intensity. Would you say?
Yes.
So that's so he's looking for an action pose and intensity, which means a really great look at the face. Does Red have any signature weapons or anything that he uses?
He just Red has no tangible weapons. He does produce black holes from his hand. He can spit out fire, but the fire is also black. Um, and on the next issue, you'll see. I'm sorry, issue 3. I can go ahead and put this out there. You'll see the symbol that's on the top of the title Revision, and that symbol will be on his uniform as well.
Okay. So we have an insignia they could use. I like the idea of the black. Do the black holes come from his hands?
Yes.
Okay. So you could have some form of he's attacking something with the black hole coming out.
Yes. And like for example, there will be a scene where he kicks someone, and when he kicks the person, they fly into a black hole, and they appear from another black hole, and he punches them after they appear from that other black hole.
Awesome. Awesome. So just some ideas for you sculptors out there who are working on this. That sounds like an intense and an awesome little job there. It sounds like a
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Awesome. And so,
Appreciate it.
with that being said, we are looking to film the rest of this episode when we get to Fayetteville Comic Con on April 27th and 28th. Daryl's going to be there with us, and I think I read today you're going to have issue 2 of Revision there that people can pick up and get signed by you. And
Yeah.
we'll also be checking out these sculptures. I'm super excited to see firsthand what people create, and we can actually see and make a call on what we think is the best. Although our votes don't count, but we still want to look at them and say, hey, we saw that project, we know. So we're
Oh yeah.
excited about this. I think it's a great project. So I think one more thing I wanted to ask you before we kind of widen this thing up. If your sculpture gets picked, is that something that in the future you would love to see to go in like mass production where more than just, one person could own a copy of that sculpt?
Oh yes, of course. I would love for as many people you know as possible to have Revision as a sculpture in their home. Um, Revision is started out fresh. This is the second sellout from Revision. I just put copies at the Dragon's Lair, and there's one copy left. So I have to restock. So this is something that I'm pushing really hard now. It's something that I was scared to push out before, but I've learned that lesson from being scared to push things out. But now that have done it, now see the kind of results that I'm getting. Um, I love making people happy. Love make when they read my stories and they like things that I write. Now, as far as them going into the sculptures, it makes me feel even much better that they can have something that's actual, like a collectible or action figure that the kids can have. This is something. If it goes into mass production, it will really make me happy.
Yeah, I like that. So everybody get on thetoyrat.com/the_sculpt and get up there. Go check out this video. Go sign up if you're a sculptor to start making this thing. And the other cool thing that happens is you're going to win $1,000 if you win that week, that month. So really cool. We're excited to be able to bring this Daryl's character to life and see what it looks like, and we look forward to it. And we thank you so much, Daryl, for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
we will see you in April.
All right. See you soon.
All right. Thanks,
Daryl,
my friend.
before you go, can I get you to do something for me?
Yes.
You said you started drawing at 11 and 12 years old, and look where you are now. I teach a bunch of sixth grade boys who like to
Yeah.
draw. Can you give them a message about what they need to do to keep their dreams going for me?
Oh, of course. My message to them would be to keep drawing. Don't listen to dream killers. There will be people that may tell you to get a real job. Trust me, this industry is big enough for you. You can get a real job in this industry. It does exist. Many people don't know about it because they aren't in it, or they haven't been to conventions to see it. But it's very real, and you can make a living doing this.
Awesome, man. Thank you. They'll
No
flip
problem.
out if they see that video that you spoke to them personally. They'll
Oh
love that.
yeah.
I want to keep going and keep them working on their artwork because I got some talented kids.
Oh yes. I already know. They're making